One, MetLife Stadium Drive, one of the two NFL stadiums shared by two teams. But we're not here to talk about that or that team across the hall. Keith Ippolito and John Rad are only here to talk about the true football giants. We talk Giants football and wherever else the conversation may take us. So deal with it. This is the Shared Stadium Podcast. It's a hard knock life. I like being on the road. Not everybody likes the throwbacks. And you know what? I'm okay if we end up with a Rookie of the Year. You're listening to the Shared Stadium Podcast. I'm John Rad, along with my teammate Keith Ippolito. Ips, what's going on, brother?
All good. I love that sign on. I'm super excited about this doing the show. We've had a week or so off, so it's been a while. We're long overdue. As we speak, the Rangers have basically just clinched it to to go on to the next round. Let's go. Hopefully the Knicks can win an Indy. I'm not thinking that's going to happen. I'm pretty sure you feel the same way, but yeah, let's see what you think.
I would hope they would win an Indy, but you know what? I don't beat around the bush on stuff. We know that we all know the NBA is rigged. The Knicks and Pacers are going to go 7, so they can go back to New York. They can get one more big market. Because look at the markets that are left. You're talking essentially what you'll have as your conference playoff games would be the Knicks and what hopefully would be the Knicks and Boston. Okay, 2 big markets. But then you're still sitting with Minnesota, Denver, Dallas, and I can't even remember who Dallas is playing now. But you're sitting with the West Coast, as much as they look like they could win it, you got such smaller markets that I think the NBA wants to look at the standpoint of, look, I want the opportunity for some big money. I need 2 big markets in the conference finals. That gives me New York, that gives me Boston, that gives me star power. You're going to see everybody from, Wahlberg and
you're going to have all the Hollywood and all the people that are going to be going to both of them, so you're 100% spot on. The NBA's rooting for that if they're not rigging it, and the TV guys are pulling for that too because all the eyeballs are going to be on that one. It's not switching sports just for a second. It's the World Series last year with the Texas Rangers is like, all right, well, I think they said that was like one of the least watched World Series ever because nobody cares about them.
No, you're 100% right. Where they're going to look around, and I get it. Denver has Nikola Jokic. Minnesota, I'm an Anthony Edwards fan, but I'm talking about diehards that are going to know about him. You got Dallas that have Luka Doncic, which people are rooting for Luka as well. And like I said, to this point, I still can't even think of who on earth Dallas is playing. But either way, it's still not a big market that's left out there. I mean, because what you would normally have is L.A., Miami, you'd have some bigger markets. You don't have that.
Yeah, exactly. All the bigger market teams where the people are going to be interested in. The Knicks just can't seem to win in Indianapolis, so I'm not expecting it. I'm fully prepared for Game 7. I've already mentally prepared myself. I'm sure you have too.
Oh yeah, I'm okay with that. I get more Knicks basketball. I get to see. I'm gonna say it, and people go ahead, call me a homer, whatever you want. I get the working man's team that's back there. I get Jalen Brunson. I get Hart. I get guys that, to be perfectly honest with you, and you got to give credit to the Knicks front office. They put together a team of guys that no one would have thought would have worked. And I even heard something, and I want your thoughts on this. I'm shifting gears a little bit here.
Yeah.
I think I was listening to satellite radio, and they were making the saying, the Knicks don't have a star. They would trade Jalen Brunson in a heartbeat for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I hate to tell them, you're wrong.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I I know he's not a household name that the casual basketball fan maybe wouldn't know until now because the Knicks are back into the swing of things. But I love Brunson. In
Yeah.
fact, he's doing things that the Knicks haven't seen in a very long time. He's fun to watch. He plays hard. All of these guys play hard, and like you just said, they built a team that has a bunch of really good players, and they all meshed well. And honestly, who is it? Josh Hart,
Josh Hart, yeah.
DiVincenzo, and who's the other kid that all three of them played on the Villanova championships teams?
Jalen Brunson.
So they got, yeah, exactly, yeah. They got that. They have that relationship. They know how to play with each other. And honestly, I think a lot of GMs sometimes don't factor that in to when they're picking teams, which sometimes they just want to go for the star power name, but sometimes that doesn't always work out. In fact, a lot of times it doesn't work out because it could lead to distractions.
I mean, I'll back that up with I don't think it was the same draft class, but I look at the draft class that consisted of Zion Williamson, Cam Reddish. Oh boy, it was but there were several Duke players that came out, and I don't want to.
Oh,
we had
yeah,
one.
yeah,
RJ
yeah. I know.
Barrett.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same class. We had RJ Barrett.
Yes, RJ. Yeah, yeah,
Knicks had
yeah.
RJ Barrett. It was the same draft. They were all the same class. They were supposed to be the stud class. And you look at that. Zion always hurt. Cam Reddish, he's basically become a journeyman. RJ Barrett, we shipped him off to Toronto. Evidently, Toronto's not a big fan of him. And I know there was more that was there, but those are the three that come to mind. And it's just one of those things that you look at it and you're like, it's not always that. The Knicks had this weird dichotomy where they were able to put together 3 college players that now have NBA experience, and we're seeing what we have right now, and it's exciting to watch.
Exactly, and they all play hard. There's not many of them that I don't like. I mean, I love them all just because they play so hard. But I mean, I respect the hell out of Hart just because I think he's played almost damn near every minute in every single game. They're close to. Hartenstein, I mean, the game the other night, I mean, he was a freaking madman with the rebounds. So yeah, man, that's I love why they are really fun to watch. It's like watching.
No, I'm 100%.
It's never going to be like the heyday. We've talked about 80s and 90s basketball is like, it for me. But this is probably about as close as you're going to get for right now.
All right, so you want me to upset some people? Fine, let's go there. Yeah, I think this team could beat
What you got?
team. I think this team could beat that team.
You do?
I think Jalen Brunson against John Starks. I'm taking Jalen Brunson. And I'm not being prisoner of the moment. Jalen Brunson's faster.
Okay.
I would say if you put Allen Houston against Josh Hart, I'm going to take Allen Houston.
Yeah, I mean, Allen Houston, he was,
Allen Houston's a legend. I'm sorry.
He was, I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to think of all the Knicks jerseys I owned. I definitely owned him. Definitely owned a John Starks jersey.
I'll throw that out because as I'm sitting here thinking about it, no one on this team.
Oh yeah, you're reconsidering
Anthony Mason. Yeah, I'm gonna reconsider that. I'll take that statement back because no one on this team could deal with Anthony Mason. None of our bigs can deal with Pat Ewing. Nobody on this team can deal with Charles Oakley. I take that back. Never mind.
What about even the later 90s teams like the so you had the Allen Houston, the Latrell Sprewell, the Marcus Cambys, in the latter years of Pat Ewing's. Do you think this team could hang with that one or no?
Man, Marcus Camby was a menace. I think Marcus Camby is one of those players that he'll never get the recognition he deserves partially because the era he played in, and partially due to injury. And the same goes for
Mm-hmm.
Latrell Sprewell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't say that
It's
unequivocally that
close. It's
yes,
close.
because like I said, Marcus Camby was a menace. He was one of my favorites. Camby was long. He had those long
I love
arms, that
watching him
long
too.
stride. He
Yep.
had he had that jump shot that it was hard to block. And then you talk about that's the
Uh-huh.
Chris Childs, Charlie Ward era. Ugh. That was physically a tough team.
Yeah. Uh, well, yeah. A very physical, tough team. I almost wonder just because of how different the league is now. Actually, I'm not even
Oh,
gonna say it because any great player can always adapt. But it's a totally different game as far as the physicality, which we all know.
the way the league is now, the teams that are there now, the teams that we're talking about, all of them would be ejected from before the first half. Every single player on the team would be
First half,
ejected.
I wouldn't even give him the first quarter.
So, but anyway, so we're here with the share. You guys are listening to the Share Stadium podcast. I'm John Rack, Keith Polito. We've had the NFL draft, and now we have our team. We have the team that we're ready to go with. The draft overall, according to Bleacher Report and everything else that I've read, they graded us out as a B. And I won't argue that. I 100% agree. The grade for the draft was a B. The free agent pickups, B. Overall, this team has upgraded. This team has gotten better. The only part that is still a question mark, and there's nothing we can do about it, is Daniel Jones. But overall, the team on paper to me looks much better, looks improved. And obviously, I know the road to the NFC East goes through the Philadelphia Eagles, but I feel comfortable knowing that we could talk about a wild card spot, maybe.
Potentially, I don't think it's out of the question. And yeah, I don't agree or don't disagree with that grade. I'm very happy with our free agency signings. Very happy with our draft. Um, you know, like you said, the biggest question obviously is the quarterback. I am still I like our signings and what Shane has done for the offensive line, but I want to see it first before I really have faith in it because the offensive line has been an issue for a very long time, and just thinking about all the draft picks that we've invested in it and the last 5, 10 plus years, and that, but we brought in a lot of good, brought in a solid one. The John Runyon, I think, is a very not under the radar signing because he's a very good player. But I think that if he can do what he does, then I think it'll freeze things up. And if Evan Neal can figure out what he's doing on the right side, then I'm not worried so much about the left side of the line with Thomas. And why am I drawing a blank on the guard? Whatever. But I think we'll be okay there. Yeah, like you said, just the question mark is obviously the quarterback. But if he's really that bad, I don't. Our lock. I
I'm
think
okay
you
with
could punch him in and not lose games. Don't you?
No, I completely think that Drew Lock can go in. He could fill in. He can get the job done. No disrespect to him. I like him more. And granted, we didn't get to see what he can do, but Tyrod Taylor was hurt, so I know we can have some time with Drew Lock that's there, and him being gone. But also the big part that I'm excited about, Brian Burns, adding him and adding Jalen Mills. Those two
Yeah.
additions,
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like, are key pieces that we were missing. Because here's what I say: the offensive line, time heals wounds with that. And I think adding this time now, it's going to fix some things because it wasn't like we had a terrible offensive line. We had what I call serviceable. We could use them. Now I think we've gotten some time. They've gotten older. They've gotten some time together. But I think adding Mills and Runyon are going to be the addition to the defense that we can use that I think are going to help keep us in more games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, he's definitely gonna be clutch there. And when you think about it, I love our front D line. I mean, Thibs. Why am I drawing a blank on the? I'm having a brain fart tonight, John. But anyways,
Mills,
I think. Yeah, I'm not as much worried about as a defense this year. And even bringing in Tyler Nubin at safety, I think he could be a big help as well. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good, going in to this season. But I'm also a realist, and I'm not like that last year. They need to get off. They need to get off to a quick start. They can't drop games. I think, the week 1 game against the Vikings, they better win that game. I don't think the Vikings they're not a great team, not anymore. So we should win that game.
Here's the thing that I'll tell you is a big advantage. And obviously, it's easy to say we should. On paper, we all know right now, everybody's undefeated. Here's the things that I'll say about the schedule that I really like.
Of course.
There's really only 2 West Coast games. The Seahawks and the Texans. You got the game in Germany. Yeah, the game against the Panthers in Germany. And that's it. So there's not a lot of time on the West Coast, which we've been seeing in previous years where teams have had to play the Chargers, the Raiders, and then the Cardinals, and they're spending weeks out there. You got more games because then after that, it's Baltimore, it's Indy, it's Atlanta. We're going to talk about that one here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know we'll go to the Cowboys twice. We're used to going to Jerry's house.
Yeah.
But frankly, with the Cowboys, you don't know if Dak Prescott is even going to have a limb missing or not, and you don't know what that team's going to look like. We know that the Eagles are going to be a problem, and Washington is still signing people at this very moment because they're still trying to make it all make sense for themselves. So I like the fact that there's a lot more games closer to home, a lot less time on the road, a lot less time in the air, and this might actually be something that might be beneficial to this team.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, especially, looking at the first month or so of the season. So when I look at, the first month, basically, I see they should be. I think they could win the first 3 games before we go to Dallas. There's the 2 game. The two games that concern me, obviously, that I obviously don't feel confident about is I'm worried, obviously, the Browns, and I'm not. I think the Commanders are a improved team, so I'm not I'm not saying we're gonna go to Commanders Field and just blow the bricks off of them, but I feel like we can maybe be 3-1, or not 3-1, or 2-1 going into Dallas. I definitely don't want to be 1-3 going to Dallas, because then if they go to Dallas, or not Dallas, we're actually a home game. I can just see that turning into a disaster like it was the very first game of the season last year.
See, I could easily see and be comfortable with, even if you start the season off 1-2, and that one is against the one win is against the Commanders. I can see you're going to step up for Dallas. You're going to. I don't think Seattle knows who they are anymore. The Bengals,
No,
That's the part where I think things need to turn around, because
that's
that's where you're going to play a real
that's
quarterback.
gonna be
You're going to play a real
that's a
test.
tough one.
And then by that
Mm-hmm.
point in time, that's where we'll have the Eagles come to town. We know we're going to be tested
Yep,
there. And then on that back
of course.
stretch, here's where I feel really good. And this is where I'm okay with feeling like that, like I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh, Commanders, Panthers,
Yeah.
Tampa,
Mm-hmm.
back to Dallas. You're playing
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 teams that are still trying to figure out who they are. Russell Wilson isn't the Russell Wilson that we thought he was. He used to be.
No, of course.
You're starting as the
I
quarterback
think the only concern would be is just traveling to Germany. I mean, that would be my only because if those games are here, that doesn't. Though we should win every single one of those games, in my opinion.
But you're traveling to Germany to take on the Panthers. You're the starting quarterback for the
That's
Panthers.
true.
Like that part, I'm
Oh,
not.
come on, not me. I'm 5'7". I couldn't even get the ball over the line.
Well, evidently, who was it? Doc Rivers' son has said you can take any 30 NBA players and put them in the NFL and they'll be successful, but you can't take any 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA and have success. So since we get to say stupid stuff like that now, I guess I get to say silly stuff like Keith Ippolito is the starting quarterback in the NFL.
Oh.
Kind of stupid thing that fools
I
up,
guess
man.
yeah, wow, that's yeah, I mean, I can think of a few NFL players that I've heard were pretty decent basketball players, but yeah, that's a hell of a statement to make. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I guess we're all allowed to make dumb comments from time to time, right, John?
No, you're not. No, not something that dumb. Because you're making a comment like that when you're watching NBA players go down and lay on the ground like they've been shot and fled.
Oh my God! Oh my!
But what do you do the first time a
these
linebacker?
Players now might not even be able to play in the 90s or the 80s basketball, let alone put on a pair of pads.
Stick to Madden. NBA players stick to Madden.
Exactly.
I know everybody says, oh, LeBron James, he could have been a tight end. He could play tight end. Okay, let me see what you do the first time you come across the middle. And you got to meet one-on-one. And here's the part that people forget. And this is what I said this, and I've talked to several people about this. To be a football player, you are trained to be crazy. You play a sport where you are trained, you're taught to be crazy. And you're not taught that in any other sport except ice hockey.
You have to be a little bit. You got to be a little bit of a lunatic.
Yes. Now, if you told me, hey, I can go find, 5, 10 ice hockey players and they can play football, I won't argue that with you. Because on the inverse of that, you got to teach football players how to.
Hockey players are tough bastards. I can tell you that much.
Yes. So I think they could take the hit. I think they could walk right. I don't think they, I don't know how they can catch, but that part I won't argue. But that's the X factor. You can't do that in the NBA. You can't go and you can't take who's the guy the defensive end for the Cleveland Browns that hit the Steelers quarterback with his helmet.
Oh, Mason Garrett
Miles
got hit. Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett stands 6'7", almost 300 pounds, and can do a windmill dunk. That's a freak of nature. That's a man who's almost 300 pounds with a 15 with a 6 foot vertical. It's insane.
It doesn't make any sense, man.
So
it really does not make any damn sense.
It's insane. I'm not listening to Austin Rivers. Here's what I'm listening to though. We grew up in an era of the throwback jersey. Now the Giants have never really made a change, but we're celebrating the 100-year anniversary of the New York Football Giants. And they're going to bring out the jerseys where these jerseys, outside of the khaki pants, I'm not with the khaki pants. Those things are disgustingly ugly. But
Oh,
these
I agree
red
with you on that.
uniforms. The only other uniforms.
And just perusing Twitter, it seems like more. Well, this is what I've heard from other chats with friends. If you're not a Giants fan, they all hate it. They think it's ugly. If you're a Giants fan, I think it's 60-40, 60 not liking it, 40 liking it. I think me and you are in the 40. I love the jerseys and I agree with you. I don't like the khaki pants, but here, you know what? What is there? Three teams, four teams, four, five, three, four, three or four teams in the league that can say that they're 100. It's their 100 years. I think Giants, Steelers, Bears,
Mm-hmm.
and
Cleveland.
there's got to be one other one. Cleveland? Is it Cleveland
Yeah,
or
Cleveland. It's not
uh
Cleveland. It's Minnesota.
maybe the Cart?
Nah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Well, either way, there's a handful. There's only a handful of teams that that can say that. So man, it's cool. It's part of our history. If you don't like it, I don't know, whatever. And first of all, if you're not a Giants fan, your opinion doesn't mean shit to me, anyways. I would definitely buy the jersey though, and I think you would too.
Oh, hands that 100%. Look, the only change that we've had is the red uniforms, the red jerseys that came out around that Jeremy
Yeah.
Shockey era. But then we're getting a
Yeah,
change
yeah,
to
yeah.
the helmet too, which will be the throwback almost to the leather, where it will have the red front with the blue back.
Yeah.
I am
Mm-hmm.
I'm a helmet collector. I don't know what it is about them.
Mm-hmm.
I have the classic Giants helmet around here, but I also have where they
Yeah,
did
yeah.
the rush where it's silver with the Giants NY.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah, yeah.
I'll be
Mm-hmm.
adding that helmet to my collection. I like the look of it. I like the change of it. I like the celebration of it. If you don't like it, I really don't care. That's on you. But it's different
Yeah.
and I
I
like it.
I agree with you, and honestly, I would have to. I think the players get a little bit excited when the team in the league does like things like this because I don't know, it's just fun, man. Represent the history of your team, and you look good. I mean, outside of the khaki pants or whatever, but yeah, man, the jerseys. I think the jerseys are badass, man. I think they're cool, and you
Nah,
celebrate the history of your team. When they won, was it
19.
1928 and 35, whatever. I mean, from the 20s and 30s, but I can't remember the years of and I know that 56 they got it, or 58 was the greatest NFL with the Baltimore Colts, but
Mm-hmm.
the 20s and the 30s are a little fuzzy for me. I'll have to go brush up on on that time.
Here's what I'll tell
Um,
you though.
but yeah,
I,
man, celebrate the history, man.
Here's what I'll tell you. I am also a University of Georgia Bulldogs fan. I
Yeah.
remember this would have been 2004, I think. Nike got the contract to make college football jerseys, college football uniforms. Nike
Mm-hmm.
came out with the combat uniforms. So every team,
Oh.
Ohio State, they all got this tweak.
Mm-hmm.
UGA was ranked number one. At this point in time, we were still dealing with the college football polls. We weren't in, this is
Yeah, yeah.
pre CFB era. And
Pre-play, yeah.
you had Boise State come to town. And Boise State was not a ranked team. Here's a history lesson with Uncle Johnny, boys and girls. So Georgia, who
Uh-oh.
traditionally wears a red helmet with the G on it, they had this really
Yeah.
cool, I think it was silver or black. I can't. I'm drawing a buzz on it, but it was a different helmet, different uniform, all
Yeah,
red
yeah,
uniform,
yeah,
a combat uniform.
yeah.
Google it. It's called Nike Combat Uniform. Georgia got blown out by an unranked Boise State, and those uniforms have never been seen again. I say the exact same thing right now.
Oh,
If we
yeah.
play, If we play somebody
Of
like the
course.
Carolina Panthers and we get blown out 74-0, you take those uniforms
Yeah.
and you toss them across the hall in the New York Jets locker room
Oh,
and you set them on fire.
exactly. You burn them. You never wear them again. Um, I was thinking about this earlier. So I believe they're wearing these uniforms twice this season. I think it's twice. When do you think they break them out? What weeks do you think that we actually see these jerseys?
I'm going to say, though, they have to be home games.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So if I had to take a guess, I'd say the first one will probably
Uh-huh.
be week 4 against the Cowboys.
Okay.
And
All right.
the second one will probably be, what's that, week 7 or 8 against
Yeah, you got Bengals week 6, Eagles week 7, both home games.
then I'd go Eagles week 7.
Okay.
Either
I'm
and I'll throw
thinking.
one more crazy one out there with you. One more.
Okay.
Or you go
Okay.
the second of the last game of the year against the Colts.
Okay.
Another legacy team.
Honestly, another legacy team. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I am thinking. I wonder if they start out with them right out the gate in week 1. I'm wondering that a little bit. Um, Another game that pops out to me, and only because it's a Sunday night game, is the week 6 game against the Bengals. That's the one that popped out to me. Primetime TV, and have a lot of eyeballs on it. Let's see. Uh, Maybe, eh, maybe week 9 against the Commanders. I don't know. Those are some of the games that stood out to me. Um, but I like your picks though, man. I could definitely see those, 100%. And we keep mentioning the week 7 game against the Eagles. Obviously, that's the Saquon game. Um. I'm pretty sure I can guarantee you how his reception is going to be in MetLife, judging on basically his reception at game 5 at the Garden. He was on
Yeah.
the jumbo screen and he got his ass booed. I know he tweeted and he was like, "Guys, it's been 2 months. Get over it." Basically, come on, Saquon. You left us and you went right down I-95 to dirty old Philly. What did you think your reception was going to be? So I can only imagine what it's going to be like for him. I guess I can only speak up for me personally. I don't know about you. I've kind of moved on from him. Not that I hate the guy, because the dude's generally a good dude, but so this is what actually scares me about him, because I know Saquon just from watching him at Penn State and following him. Obviously, he's a competitive son of a bitch, so I'm sure he has this game in the back of his head.
I don't think so. It doesn't matter. Like,
No?
I don't think Saquon Barkley's going out there with the proverbial chip on his shoulder that, oh, I want to get back at you. I think Saquon Barkley's going out there, I'm about to dominate every game that I go out here against. So that's whether it's against New York, whether it's against Washington, whether it's against Dallas, whether it's against the Falcons. I think he's taking every single game the exact same way, but it's with a level of intensity. Because here's the thing. It wasn't like, I think back to when Richard Seymour played for the New England
Okay.
Patriots. In the middle of the season, he was traded to the then Oakland Raiders, a very bad
Yeah.
Oakland Raiders. He had that anger in the back of his mind of, okay, I get it. I think Saquon Barkley, and if I hope running backs think like this. I think there's a part of him that always sits there and thinks, I'm good, I can still do it. But at the end of the day, I understand it's business versus it's not like they shipped him off in the middle of the night. It's not like they sent him with a hefty bag and said, "Good luck, kid."
No, and like we've discussed previously, it's not like they offered him chump change. I think it was, what was it, 12? Was it 12.5 million
Yeah,
or
I think it might have been
something like?
14.
It's not like they. Yeah, I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but it's not like they it's not like it was like an embarrassing number. I mean, he was gonna make a lot of money. It just he wanted Christian McCaffrey money,
And
and
you ain't
sorry,
Christian McCaffrey.
Saquon, you're not McCaffrey. You're not.
Christian McCaffrey is just coming off of amazing recovery, an amazing season. You're coming off back-to-back injuries. Sorry, buddy. Now, here's the thing that I will say
Yeah.
where New York will miss him. Who am I watching for Hard Knocks? The New York Giants have been tapped on the shoulders
Oh
to be a part of
yeah.
HBO's Hard Knocks. I, I haven't watched Hard Knocks in quite a few years because I feel like every team has kind of gone through. And so I've kind of just been like, all right, and even so much so they've
I'm
gotten
glad you
desperate.
mentioned that.
What,
I'm
watching
glad
it?
you brought that up because about watching it because I'm not gonna lie, like it's been a few years since I watch it. Not that I don't like the show. I think it's very well done. But like you just said, it's like, we've pretty much every team has been on it. So it's like and it's on super late and just I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't work out with my schedule, and I've already got 9 million Netflix shows in my freaking queue or whatever. So I don't know. It's kind of in the back burner. Like thinking about well, actually, Giants had to been early 2000s. When the hell's the last time they were on Hard Knocks? I should have Googled this before the hell we got on air. Actually, let me Google it right now.
It was pre-Odell Beckham.
Oh God, yeah.
And oh goodness, it would have had to have been. It was
I think it was.
It was post Michael Strahan retiring.
Oh yeah.
So this is such bad radio. Thank goodness we're not on the radio.
Having a hard time finding it. Yeah, no kidding.
Hold
whatever.
on, I'll get the answer for you.
I'll have to look at it. Again.
Okay, so going backwards,
I should have looked this up beforehand. Bad show prep by me.
Actually, to be honest with you, the Giants haven't done Hard Knocks.
I think it's only been on
ever. 2001, it was the Ravens.
Really?
2, the
Are
Cowboys.
You sure?
3, I'm looking at the list right now here. The third season skips to 2007. It was the Chiefs, the Cowboys, Bengals, Jets, Dolphins, Bengals, Falcons, Texans, Rams, Bucks, Browns, Raiders, Chargers and Rams did it in 20. Cowboys and Colts did it in 21. Lions and Cardinals did it in 22. Jets and Dolphins did it in 23. Giants will be doing it for the first time in 24. They've never done it.
That's wild. That's kind of crazy. That's wild. But all right. Well, no. All right. Now we know. I don't know. I mean, honestly, it makes sense. I mean,
but I asked the question.
I think I was reading on the line. Well, yeah. What's the question?
Who am I watching it for? Like, when you think about it, and I'm going to go back to this list here, and we can run down the list just kind of quickly, because I remember the first year they did it, when they did it with the Baltimore Ravens, and you had Ray Lewis, you had Shannon Sharp, you had Todd Heap, who was a rookie. You go to the Cowboys, you had Aikman, you go to the 2007, the Chiefs, you still had Tony Gonzalez. Who am I watching Hard Knocks for? Daniel Jones?
Yeah, well, I guess, the storylines would be because I believe they filmed it from January up until the draft. So
Hmm.
obviously you'll have all the Daniel Jones stuff. You'll have draft stuff. Obviously, probably be some stuff about neighbors and all the picks or whatever. Um, yeah, I would say probably the main storyline is your guy Danny Dimes. Come on,
I'm not.
you're telling me you're not gonna watch it?
Not if I catch. You know what? If I watch it, it is strictly for this podcast, but it is not on must see TV. Considering that number one,
It's not for pleasure.
yeah, we're watching it for revisionist history. We're watching it to
Yeah.
for. I mean, I get it, but it's just kind of like this is, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped watching it because you were making stories, and I can tell you. So the last year I watched it was when the Chargers were involved with it. But
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember the year, and this is how well I remember it. It was the year the Atlanta Falcons did it, and your stars were
Okay.
Croy Bierman, Devontae Freeman, and it wasn't Tyler Starr. It was Tyler Starr's fiance or his wife. She was a smoke show.
Okay.
And here's how I remember this. So they
So
highlighted
that's why you watched it.
they highlighted Tyler Starr. Tyler Starr spent 3 seasons with the Atlanta Falcons.
Hmm.
Tyler Starr dressed out for as many Atlanta Falcons games as you and I combined. And he spent 3 seasons with this team. Let that sink in. And I just remember just that, just like, so wait a minute. You're highlighting a guy who's not dressing out, and his wife became more the star than he did. I got to look up to see if
Yeah.
they're still together. Now I'm interested by this because that became the
That's
highlight
yeah.
of it all.
Like you said, I mean, obviously the show is, it's made for TV, so her being a media or a star or whatever, I could see how that would be a headline. But if you're just two guys or girl to are football fans, I, uh, me personally, I don't really care. I wouldn't care about that. Like. I'd be like, all right, cool. You're a super famous girl, and you're married, or you're dating a guy who's never played in a game, or he just dresses out on the Falcons. All right, cool. Who the hell cares? Get to the football.
But she wasn't even a star. She was just pretty. That's it. Matter of fact, the only reason Croy Bierman was highlighted because he was married to Kim from the Real
Oh yeah, yeah.
Housewives.
Yeah.
That's the
What
only reason
Kim
he was
something?
highlighted. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna be watching instead. I might even watch this one over and over and over and over again. If you have Peacock, which I need to check to see if I have that, the documentary The Bronx
Uh,
Zoo.
Oh my
I'll be
God, man! I know that comes out tonight actually as we're recording, and I think I'm actually gonna watch that as soon as we finish up with this because I'm super excited because that's my God Almighty, that's like my wheelhouse, man. That's like then just it like when I think of my sports fandom in the '90s, Knicks, Yankees. Oh my God, man! I'm so pumped to watch this. I'm sure you are too.
I'm looking forward to it. It was funny because while I was at work, which by the way, for those of you guys who don't know, we have real jobs. This is the Shared Stadium podcast. John Rad, Keith Ippolito. We actually have
Yeah,
real jobs. Don't go googling us. We're not famous.
yeah,
Um, just I was at
yeah.
work, and one of the guys
And
came up
don't.
to me. One of the guys came up to me and he said, "Hey man, have you heard about this?" I said, "Yeah, I'd heard about it. I'd forgotten. I shared it with you and a few other people." And he was like, "They had a cougar in the locker room." I was like, "Yeah, there really was a cougar in the locker room."
There
He's like,
really was. There really was.
he's like,
There was a lot of
Steinbrenner
crazy things.
Steinbrenner fired a man during a press conference. He's like, he didn't fire a man, it was the manager. He fired him during the press conference. I was
Yeah,
like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
And he said, you
Yeah.
call him Mr. Steinbrenner. I was like, look, Yankees fans, we revere Mr. Steinbrenner for what he brought to our
Oh,
city.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know his checkered past. I mean, he was, banned, from the league forever from the Dave Winfield stuff. But as far as I would bow down and kiss the ground to have George back, running this team, because his sons are and the kids, they're all chooches to me.
If Mr. Steinbrenner was still around, I can tell you right now, the Yankees would have Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani,
Of
who else would
course,
we want? We would
and
have
they would
Juan
have already
Soto.
signed Juan Soto.
Yes,
Yeah,
we'd have Juan Soto. Truth be told, y'all might not like it. We'd have Freddie Freeman because look at the look of Freddie Freeman, clean cut. We'd have Freddie Freeman. We'd have
yeah.
Mookie Betts.
Oh
We would
yeah,
have a
of course.
murderer's row of the bet. Oh, that little contract. I know Atlanta. We're in Atlanta. For those of y'all who don't know, Atlanta fans. We would have Ronald Acuna Jr. because we'd pay him more and he'd come to New York and he'd cut and get rid of the dreads. We'd have Ronald Acuna Jr. We would have
Oh yeah,
Ozzy Albies. We would have a murderer's row of
oh yeah.
of
We
future
would
Hall
have
of Famers.
we would have them all, man. It
Yeah.
wouldn't even be a question. I actually, I was before we signed on tonight, to go through. We mentioned Juan Soto briefly or whatever. I was reading the Yankees. I believe it was Hal said that he's pretty open to trying to figure out a deal to keep him, and they definitely should. I don't know what they have to do. I mean, this guy. This guy is unfreaking believable. As far as I'm concerned, if he might be worth the $700 million, and you want to talk about a guy who's got brass
It
balls
shouldn't
betting
even
on
be a
himself.
question
I believe
of
2 times. He
if
turned
we're
down the
going to pay
Nationals,
him. It should
and
be a question of how
did
much
he
and when
turn?
we're going to
Was
start
it the
paying him.
Padres as well? Yeah, I mean, he's going to get paid. I mean, I have to imagine it's going to be in the Shohei realm. No?
Oh no, I completely believe it'll be in the Shohei realm. So yes, this is why we'll watch the Bronx Zoo. For those of you who don't know, okay, let's give some quick history. Let's help everybody. I'm assuming everybody who listens to this podcast is a Yankees, Giants, Knicks, Rangers fan. We'll even accept you if
Mm.
you're a Mets, Jets, Islanders, whatever. Even if you're a Brooklyn Nets
Mm-hmm.
fan, we'll accept you.
Yeah.
But Bronx Zoo,
Yeah.
the New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers, where it was always referred to as the Bronx Zoo. They legit, in the years that they're talking about, yeah, it was a zoo. Not a literal
It
zoo,
really
but metaphorically
no.
speaking, it was a zoo.
Metaphorically, I mean, you had a lot of characters in that clubhouse, man.
That's a
You
nice way to
had
put it. That is a
yeah,
nice way
a
of putting it.
very
You had
uh
criminals. You had criminals. No, you're
yeah.
laughing.
Yeah.
We have criminals, legit criminals on the guys was dating the fifth. Never mind. I don't want to spoil it for you. We had criminals. Sorry, I mean,
Oh,
we
hey,
had out,
yeah,
we
what
had
are you gonna?
legit criminals. Yeah, we really do.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't make this up. It was
We
the longest.
God, let's go down memory lane. Let's see. God. Well, so we had Donnie. You had even Doc and Daryl in the later in the '96. God Almighty, Jesus. David Wells was a freaking maniac. Jesus.
He had high
One of my
cholesterol.
favorite David. Yeah, one of my favorite David Wells stories is when he threw his perfect game, and he said he went out and went on basically a bender,
A
and it just
bender.
was completely hung over. I love it. Guy is hung over on the mound, and he's throwing a freaking perfect game.
And the thing that always struck me about that perfect game, if anybody knows the Knicks, the Yankees, it's about being clean cut. And here comes Wells, the top button of his uniform unbuttoned. The hat looked like he found it in the back seat of his car, buried underneath a duffel bag, and he just threw it on kind of astrew. He didn't look like he had shaved in about 4 weeks, and just stumbles out there and throws a perfect game. And he looked like he had just eaten like 5 calzones.
Oh, well, he probably did. I don't know if this was the perfect game or not. I'll have to go back and double check myself. But I know there was a game where he bought a Babe Ruth hat in auction for like 20-something grand. I think this is a different game. And they were like, "Well, we're gonna fine you." So he wore it anyways. I freaking love that, man.
I don't think that was the perfect game, but he bought it for 20 grand. He played in the game. He had a really good game that game. He wore it that game, and then he resold it, I think, for like 100 grand. So he made his money back.
Right. Yeah,
so,
God, yeah.
But I will tell you, before I watch that, I look, if we're talking about true nostalgia, I don't know about you. I got to finish the last episode of X-Men 97. It's on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah. So I'm falling behind. I've fallen behind on it. I started on it. I don't know where are you at in it?
I just got to watch the last episode, the season finale. So I just got to watch that. No spoilers. I got to watch that. And then I'll watch the Bronx Zoo.
I'll probably after tonight, after we sign off here, I'll probably watch Bronx Zoo. I'm trying to think of, another show that I've been enjoying recently. It's been on Prime. Is this Outer Range one with Josh Brolin? It's a little weird. I don't know if you've. It's not. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's entertaining. So I think I have like one or two episodes of that. So maybe I'll watch that. I don't know. I had a coffee at my nephew's graduation dinner, so I have a feeling I'll be up late tonight.
No, I will not be up late tonight. I'm gonna finish X-Men 97. I'll get into the Bronx Zoo, and then I want to be well rested so I can watch the Knicks tomorrow. I gotta figure out. I don't even know who the Yankees are playing tomorrow either.
Oh yeah, I gotta look at the schedule. Well, actually, they might be. No, they wouldn't be off tomorrow because I think.
No. They beat the Twins tonight, and so they are playing they're playing the White Sox in New York.
Oh, okay, all right.
And I gotta be fair. I don't know if you've been keeping up with this. Look, and anybody listening, I don't want to hear any guff. I don't want to hear any flack about it. Number one, our New York Liberty beat the Fever 102-66.
Oh, okay.
And Brianna Stewart had a solid. Brianna Stewart put up 31 points. Yikes! Go ahead.
Oh wow.
All
right.
I don't know if you've gotten into it. I've always been a WNBA fan. Casual. I'm not gonna say a diehard. I've been a casual WNBA fan.
I don't. I wouldn't really say I've watched. I would say I've watched probably more women's college basketball than I have the WNBA. Maybe now that Caitlin Clark is in the league, maybe I'll, casually watch just for her or whatever. But yeah, no, I would totally be lying if I said that I really, knew what was going on with the WNBA on any great level.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you some names to keep an eye out for. Number one, Kelsey Plum. And here's how I'm gonna tie it all back together. Watch it. It's Darren Waller's ex-wife, Kelsey Plum, point guard for the Las Vegas Aces.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I tied that back together. See, that's a professional radio guy right here.
Yeah, yeah.
What do
I
you want me
see
to do?
it.
You want me to talk like this?
Radio
and then
guy.
talk about, we're going to talk about eats and go get a calzone. Never mind. I'm sorry. It's patent pending. Another name I'm going to give you. Yeah, you see what I did? Yeah, you see that? Yeah, he'll never listen to this thing. You know that. Another name who I'm going to give you to look out for is the forward for the LA Sparks, Banks. She's Steph Curry's god sister. But her and Steph Curry are family, and
Okay.
I think she can shoot the lights out of the gym. And I'm not taking anything away from Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, I think she's going to do some amazing things once she gets settled in there. But right now, I'm telling you some players that are good players that I think are going to do some things for their teams. But those are some names to look out for here in the WNBA. I'll tell you what else to look out for. I hear that KFC now has sauces on their chicken nuggets. Everybody wants to call them boneless wings or whatever you want to call the chicken nuggets. KFC has sauces. I might swing by KFC drive through tomorrow for lunch.
KFC has sauces.
Yes,
wow. I'm not aware. I wasn't aware of this. Wow.
I just saw it myself.
And I'll be 100% honest with you. I haven't actually been to a KFC in a long time. And I do pass a KFC somewhat close to on my way to work. So I might have to make a pit stop in the KFC at some time tomorrow afternoon too. What kind of sauces are on this? Okay, what do you have? Do you have it in front of you right now?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up because I know they have like honey barbecue. I know they have barbecue. I think they have buffalo. Let's see here. Once again, such bad radio, but who cares? Let's see here. The world favorite. Okay, you can get hot and spicy. You can get barbecue. Okay. You can get honey barbecue. And you can get teriyaki.
I think I'm leaning towards. I always like teriyaki wings, so I might have to try that. And what you say, the very first one was sweet and spicy. I might have to go with that too. That would probably might be my two. And then a close third. You said, was it honey barbecue, right?
Honey barbecue.
Yeah, I'm probably. Honestly, I might just get all three and just.
I was about to, sounds like
take
a
nugget and yeah, smorgasbord of sausage, sauces.
Well, look. Now that we've got you guys have listened to however long this is going on of our silliness. We hope you enjoy. Wherever you get your podcast, like, subscribe, follow, click the alert button. Do me the biggest favor that you can ever do me. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And if you don't like us, deal with it.
Yeah, deal with it. Or like you always say, bite us. That's what we do.
Or if you want to, go buy some KFC boneless wings and then tell us what you think down in the comments. Do that part. And then KFC, if you want, we're up for sponsorship. KFC, if you want to sponsor us.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor it. Yeah, if you want to send us like a family box or whatever the hell it is, I'm not opposed to that.
I'm not sharing with my family though.
Send two then. Send one for me and one for John.
Oh, you were either A, you were keeping it for yourself, or B, you were expecting me to share one with you. One way or another, neither one was going to happen. Send two.
Of course.
We'll talk to you guys later. Until next time.
This has been a fun night, man.